Inside Saint Porphyrius Greek Orthodox Church, fear mingled with hope as Ibrahim Jahsan, his pregnant wife, and their 2 children huddled with hundreds of others, seeking sanctuary from the chaos outside. The ancient stone walls, a symbol of faith and heritage, offered what they thought was safety. But on October 19, 2023, that illusion shattered. An Israeli airstrike struck the church compound, collapsing the ceiling onto families below. In seconds, the sanctuary became a scene of devastation. Ibrahim and his family survived, but many neighbors did not. 18 people were killed as they slept, their refuge turned into a grave. Rescuers clawed through rubble, searching for survivors, the trauma of that night forever etched into the community's memory. Amidst the ruins, Ibrahim's words echoed, "We were baptized here, and we will die here." It was a vow of belonging, not surrender. For Palestinian Christians like the Jahsans, leaving Gaza means severing a 2,000-year connection to their land and faith. Their struggle is not just for survival, but for the right to remain where their ancestors lived and worshipped. The Jahsan family's ordeal is a microcosm of a community under siege, faith under fire, determined to endure. Their story is a testament to resilience in the face of unimaginable loss. The bombing of Saint Porphyrius was more than an attack on a building. It was an assault on history. Gaza's oldest active church, with roots stretching back to 425 AD, had survived empires and wars, serving as a beacon for generations. In October 2023, that legacy was shattered. The Israeli military claimed to target a nearby command center, but for the families inside, the distinction was meaningless. The blast collapsed the church council building, killing mothers, fathers, and children, ordinary people seeking only safety. The destruction sent a chilling message: nowhere was safe, not even the holiest sanctuaries. Survivors faced not just physical loss, but deep psychological wounds. The church's rubble became a symbol of a heritage under siege. For Palestinian Christians, Saint Porphyrius is more than stone. It's a cornerstone of identity, linking them to ancestors and the global Christian community. The attack was seen as part of a broader assault on Palestinian life and culture, an attempt to erase history. The loss was immediate and profound, but the community's resolve to remain endured. The ruins stand as a stark reminder. The erasure of heritage is a wound that cuts deep. The violence did not end with Saint Porphyrius. Gaza's Christian community faced repeated attacks on their sanctuaries. Holy Family Church, the only Catholic parish in Gaza, became another target. It had sheltered hundreds, Christian and Muslim alike, offering food, care, and hope. In December 2023, an Israeli sniper killed Nahida and Samar Anton, a mother and daughter, in the church courtyard. Then, in July 2025, an Israeli airstrike hit the church during prayers, killing 3 elderly parishioners and wounding many, including the priest. 500 people were sheltering inside. The attack was a direct hit, shattering any illusion of protection for Gaza's Christians. The bombing of Holy Family Church marked a chilling escalation, no longer collateral damage, but a direct assault on a house of worship. These attacks violated the sanctity of religious sites and left the community in terror and grief. Critics argue this pattern reflects either impunity or a deliberate policy to destroy safe havens for civilians. By targeting places of refuge, the attacks aimed to break the spirit of Gaza's people. The repeated strikes on churches became a symbol of the brutal reality facing all Palestinians, regardless of faith. The community's faith was tested, but their unity and resilience persisted. The sanctuaries that once offered hope now stand as stark reminders of loss. Palestinian Christians are not outsiders. They are the descendants of the first followers of Jesus, rooted in the Holy Land for 2 millennia. Their ancestors heard the Gospels in Jerusalem and Bethlehem, and their presence is a living testimony to Christianity's origins. They have safeguarded the holiest sites, their liturgies echoing the language of Christ. This community is a vital bridge between past and present, east and west. But their existence is under threat. Conflict, occupation, and economic hardship have pushed them to the brink. In Gaza, violence is acute. In Jerusalem and the West Bank, land confiscation and restrictions drive emigration. Each family that leaves weakens the community's future. The loss of Palestinian Christians would turn the land of the Bible into a museum, stones without the living stones of faith. Their struggle is a fight against erasure, a battle to remain in the birthplace of their faith. The living stones now face a profound struggle for survival. The bombing of Holy Family Church in July 2025 sparked global outrage, drawing condemnation even from Israel's closest allies. Church leaders in Jerusalem called it a heinous crime, a violation of every norm of international law. The attack crossed a line for many, prompting criticism from influential voices in the United States and beyond. The newly elected Pope Leo XIV personally called Israel's prime minister, urging an immediate ceasefire and protection for Gaza's worshippers. The Pope's intervention underscored the crisis's gravity and placed moral pressure on Israeli leadership. Despite the outcry, the reality in Gaza remained grim. The death toll soared, with independent reports suggesting over 186,000 killed. For Palestinians, including Christians, international words offered little comfort as the violence continued. The gap between condemnation and action was stark, a painful reminder of their isolation. The pleas for peace echoed globally, but on the ground, hope was hard to find. The world watched, but the bombs kept falling. Palestinian Christians are disappearing from their homeland at an alarming rate. Once over 10% of the population, they now make up less than 2%. In Gaza, only a few hundred remain. Decades of conflict, occupation, and economic hardship have driven many to emigrate, seeking safety and opportunity abroad. Each departure tears at the community's fabric, leaving churches emptier and traditions at risk. The violence in Gaza accelerated this exodus. Bombed homes, destroyed churches, and constant fear made life unbearable. For many, the attacks on their last sanctuaries were the final blow. The war has created a new wave of displacement, likely permanent for many. In the West Bank, settlement expansion, the separation wall, and daily harassment further erode hope. Extremist settler violence and land seizures make survival ever more difficult. The Christian community faces a managed decline, squeezed from their ancestral land. Their future in Palestine hangs by a thread. The Western narrative often ignores Palestinian Christians, but they are not a separate minority. They are Palestinians, sharing language, culture, and struggle with their Muslim neighbors. Their fight is not religious, but political, a quest for justice, dignity, and the right to live in peace. Christians and Muslims live, work, and resist together, united by a shared history and national aspiration. When bombs fell, churches opened their doors to all, sheltering Muslim and Christian families alike. This solidarity is not charity. It's the expression of a single, resilient community. The suffering is collective, and so is the resilience. Palestinian Christians are not caught in the middle. They are an integral part of the national story. Their leaders have long been at the forefront of the Palestinian movement. To ignore their identity as Palestinians is to misunderstand their plight. Their story is inseparable from the story of all Palestinians. In unity, they find strength to endure. The struggle of Palestinian Christians extends beyond Gaza, into the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Here the threat is not sudden violence, but a slow, grinding process of dispossession. Military occupation controls every aspect of life: movement, land, and opportunity. The separation wall, deemed illegal by the International Court of Justice, cuts off communities and chokes Bethlehem, the heart of Palestinian Christianity. Settlement expansion and land seizures further isolate and impoverish Christian towns. Extremist settler violence and harassment, often unchecked, create a climate of fear. Young people see no future, driving emigration and weakening the community. The result is a managed decline, a slow erasure of Christians from their own history. The struggle in the West Bank is less explosive than Gaza, but just as devastating. The living stones are being walled off from their heritage. The story of Palestinian Christians is one of survival against overwhelming odds. Bombed in Gaza, squeezed in the West Bank, their existence is threatened, but their spirit endures. Attacks on churches are attacks on the soul of a community, yet the living stones refuse to break. Their identity as Palestinians, shared with their Muslim neighbors, is their greatest strength. This unity fuels their hope for a future of dignity, justice, and freedom. The world's condemnations are not enough. Action is needed to protect this ancient community. The loss of Palestinian Christians would be a loss for all of Christianity, yet hope persists, in vows to remain, in hands digging through rubble, in dreams of peace. Their hope is resistance, a refusal to surrender to despair. For the living stones of Palestine, faith and love for their land light the way. Their story is not over. It is a call for a new dawn of peace.